Ready, fellas? Esquire. Let's go get him again.
Yo, whose hands is this?
Yeah, back to work, I love to tell you that. Oh, you sending shots, I gotta send them back in. We back in, I tell you just what happened. I grew up, started living life, that's when they started trapping.
Yo, to my Bronx brethren, I don't know if y'all have heard, but you know, the queen of the Bronx might have just dropped a new track.
Who's the queen of the Cardi B?
Come on now.
Wait, the up shit?
Now.
That up shit?
Of course.
That shit fake heat.
Oh,
That
okay.
shit was fake heat.
Okay.
I won't lie.
Trash.
Oh, word is trash? Say less, Jeff.
It is trash.
Say less, Jeff.
Oh, wait.
He's a Cardi B fan. The beat sound hard already.
Nah, the beat is hard.
This nigga Sam is such a bird.
Sam is an OD bird.
He's from Queens, bro.
Oh no, it sound fire.
He's a low-key Cardi fan too, so I know he gonna like this.
No, I'm not gonna hold you though, bro. Cardi B, alright. My joint is that Bodak Yellow. Whenever
It's
that come on, I'm
incredible
in.
how
Come on
Cardi
now.
can literally
Come
get
on
you guys.
now.
Let me not even say Cardi. Atlantic
on
Records can get you guys with the same fucking formula, the same fucking.
If it ain't
flow
broke, don't
that-
fix it.
If it works, it works.
Yo, the
Fuck
thing
is you
I
talking
actually have
about,
no
Jeff?
problem with this. The reason why my only issue with this right now is that she just dropped this right after I don't know, Meg Thee Stallion dropped her video for the song she has with the baby, Cry Baby. Mm-hmm. That video was
That was a dope video.
exploding at the beginning of the week.
That was a dope video.
And
The
then
heat.
Cardi,
Yeah, I had to step
and then
on
Cardi
that.
drops right at the end of the week.
Yeah, it's over
why?
for that. Y'all had y'all good little run. What you mean? Step it up.
Listen, you
step it up.
Listen,
What you
see,
mean?
I'm not jacking that.
What you
because
mean?
I
Wait,
like
so
it.
what?
I like that.
So Cardi feel like what? She first off, her and Meg are cool. So like, it's not like let's not even act like that was what she was. She wasn't.
I'm
trying
not
to step
insinuating.
on her shit.
I'm not insinuating that.
always
But to me, that the nerve that Cardi would just move
The
like,
nerve?
oh, like I just do what I want. Like, yo, you're not like relax.
What you mean?
She could have waited a week.
Meg could have waited a week.
That's why I'm not really jacking.
You got to check in with me. I
dropped
take
first.
Big Meg. I take Big Meg. Did you check it? Did you call in
you
and see what my
stupid.
schedule was?
Meg dropped first.
Did you call in
Meg
and check to
dropped
see what
first.
my schedule was though? You didn't call me. That's
Cardi B
on
can
you.
drop whenever she
So
wants,
if you
bro.
take an L, don't get mad at me.
Yo, the Meg video was fire, bro.
Yo, remember every time we wanted to throw yams and it was right around Thanksgiving time, so it was, I think, the SG Rose Founders Day, and it was the same thing. It was like, yo, like, did y'all check our schedule? Yams is happening. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry that your shit is around this day.
Tell your
Like,
founders.
No,
tell
but
your
you can't
founders they
say
should have
that
chose a
about
different
Cardi.
date.
Cardi drops one song a year, bro. Cardi drops like 1 to 3 songs a year.
Yams comes around once a year.
Yo, they was tight
You
about
know
that.
when it's happening.
At the same time,
You
though.
know when it's happening. You know the schedule.
But that was disrespectful though. That was
You don't know
Listen,
when Cardi's dropping.
Cardi watched the news just
She
like you,
stepped
man.
on her
She heard.
shit, and to me, the song is not. It's not valid enough. It's not like, to me, her shit's. It's still a good song. But her shit's going down and down slowly but surely.
She heard that
until
the
you
vaccine
realize
was
that she's
out.
Not a real
She could
artist.
smell the summer, and y'all know what time it is, man.
She needs to flip.
But there's an artist who came out and said she stole the
Yeah, that phrase. It's like 3 or 4 artists that said that now.
Meg dropped the Cry Baby video earlier this week.
And also to address another point,
Yeah,
you were
she
saying
did.
how Atlantic hit us with the same swag for the past however many years. You wasn't complaining when Teddy Riley and them boys hit you with New Jack Swing. It was the same beat for 50 fucking songs. You was in it. Nigga, what is you
right.
talking about?
Listen,
if it ain't broke,
I
don't
wasn't around
fix
when
it.
Teddy Riley.
Yes, you
I wasn't
was.
around when
Yes,
Teddy
you
Riley
was.
was
Yes,
doing
you
that.
was.
But every time I
You
hear
was in
one
there
of them
dancing.
shits,
I
do
see you with that
kinda-
Bobby Brown
I do
video.
kinda bounce, like, yo, when
I
you
know
hear
what-
some guy,
I know what's
bro,
your prerogative.
it's just
Get outta
like,
here.
Yo, bro, this nigga Teddy Riley had the formula, bro. Like, when you hear all that New Jack Swing type sound,
Hold
like,
on, man.
not
I'm
gonna
shocked.
front.
I'm shocked you even jump back into the crates like that, Jeff.
Yeah, nah, you know what I mean.
You don't strike me as one of those type of guys, man.
Oh no! Don't question me on that, bro. Listen,
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
well versed. I'm not well versed in like oldies and like older American music and shit like that. But like I do my homework. You know what I mean? If somebody puts me on game a little bit, then I'll go back and do some research.
Where's your cutoff, man? You listen to Luther and Stevie?
No, I had to get put on the Luther and Stevie.
Yeah, you got to
more
jump
so
into them
Stevie.
crates.
More so Stevie.
Stevie got heat.
Yeah,
Got
Stevie
heat.
got. I had to get put on to Stevie college, like freshman year. My roommate put me on to Stevie.
Yeah,
like,
Stevie got hit.
Had a massive debate, like.
But I'm gonna put you onto somebody if you
Because
ain't listened to him
he
yet.
had Stevie above Mike. Like when I went into college, like
Stevie got hit.
Michael Jackson was the
No,
greatest.
it's Mike. It's always
of all
gonna
time
be
to me.
the answer's always
I
Mike.
don't-
No, but no. But here's
I don't
the thing.
think so. I don't think
That's
so.
when I learned the difference between a singer.
Oh yeah,
and
no.
a
musician.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Stevie Wonder is a
Oh,
musician.
for sure.
Like,
I get that.
So that's when
won't
I
argue
learned the
that.
difference. I was like, yo, you know what I mean? Mad respect.
Oh no, he's definitely top tier. Like he
And
walking-
Prince too. I got put on to Prince in
Prince,
college too.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never could get into Prince, man. I could
Prince
never
got
get
some
into
heat,
it.
too.
It's like 2 or 3 songs that I mess with, but like the total
Prince got some heat.
geography,
there's one
I'm not
song,
there.
bro, that I heard that might be the greatest song I've ever heard in my life.
Which one is
Like
this?
I literally almost cried.
You almost
When
cried.
doves cry?
Jeff
When
almost cried.
doves
Bro,
cry?
he hits this crazy ass falsetto, bro.
Jeff was
It's
listening
like,
to Diamonds and Pearls.
So does Jay
bro,
Holiday.
It's just like
So does Jay Holiday. What we talk about?
watch Julio. When I play this shit for you, you gonna see, bro. Watch.
So does Maxwell. What we talking about?
Oh, Maxwell used to have some heat too.
Maxwell's a G too, though.
Yeah, he has some heat.
Falsetto.
Much
No,
respect to
Prince. The
Maxwell.
Prince song I fuck with, Raspberry Beret. Yo, I don't
Raspberry
know.
Beret. That sounds a little.
Wait, you never heard
First of all of his songs sound like that, Nick.
Yo, hold on.
Your girl put you onto that, Jew?
When
Because that can't
doves
be.
cry,
What,
purple
Raspberry
rain,
Beret?
like what is he talking about?
Prince got heat though.
Purple Rain
Oh, no,
is
he
a
do.
classic as
You
well,
telling me
too.
you never heard that?
Purple Rain is probably 10,
Raspberry
20.
Beret.
Yo,
Raspberry
hey,
Beret.
get it, Julio. Hey.
When the hood niggas find Prince,
Yo,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you gotta go back and get in them crates, man. For real.
yeah, I started digging in the crates. It actually started in, I want to say towards the end of high school. I started with Ice Cube, weirdly enough, and then just started working back.
so you started with who? Ice Cube?
Ice Cube, because I wasn't like, I always heard about the NWA roots because that was like early 90s, like when I first was born. So I wasn't really listening to any of that shit out of Compton, Fuck the Police. Like all of that stuff came when I was way later. And I was like, wait, but this still sounds mad relevant. And so I had a whole phase. And that was also around the time where like GTA San Andreas was out. So yeah, but I took it
You
from
playing
there
this
and
song?
just
This
went
is
back.
You know this joint fits?
Yeah. Yo, bro.
Somebody played this for me, bro. I almost cried, bro. I was like, yo, what is this? I don't know if y'all know this. This is Prince, Adore.
Yo, Jeff is really going into Yo, zoom in on Jeff's face because if you drop
He
the
really had
tear
that
here,
queued
bro.
up. He had
He
that
was
queued
ready.
up in case the argument ever came up. But did y'all
to
hear
cry
Adorno?
It's the only Prince song I have on my phone. Like, I don't know Prince's catalog like that,
He really
bro.
had it queued
But
up.
somebody played this song. I was in another room, bro. I was moved, bro. I was just like,
Yo, Jeff, I'm
What
gonna
is that?
put
I
you
was like,
on to
who is
somebody
that?
right now, man. If you haven't,
I couldn't
if-
believe it, bro. Like, that song is incredible. Listen to that song when you get a chance, yo.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to him, Jeff, you need to go on and pop on some of his tracks because I think you and him have the same, a lot of the same characteristics, man, and y'all on the same page with a lot of stuff that he talks about
I
his
am
music.
terrible when it comes to black music. Like
You gotta
music.
listen to Teddy P.
You too, Sco?
Oh, like you know where I'm at with the movies.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
still
yeah.
scratching the surface on the movies and the shows.
Yeah, then yeah.
Music,
yeah.
I'm far, bro.
You whole way behind.
I cannot name a single song from like any of those like what is it? The Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye, Prince. I don't know a single song by name. Not
Yeah,
not
you
one.
probably don't know him by name, but I'm sure you've heard a bunch of them before. 'Cause they're in
But I couldn't tell you
movies and
who's
all that
who. But I'm saying I couldn't tell you who's who. I couldn't hear a song and be like, oh, that's
Earth, Wind, and
whoever.
Fire? Like,
No.
if you heard an Earth, Wind, and Fire song,
Not a
you wouldn't
single.
know?
Not as
stuff. You definitely have heard.
I know I've
The
heard these
Temptations?
songs. I'm not saying I haven't heard these songs. I'm saying I don't know who they are. If
That's
you
fair.
played it, like
No,
you,
I
they,
feel
you know that.
bro. I feel like this is the first generation like sort of like immigrant experience. Like
And it's not a knock either, because someone has to introduce you to that. Like this
Right.
music is from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like there's no way
but
I
the
heard
thing
that.
is, so
when it was
many,
live.
but people that grow up here, especially black people that grow up in this country, like they're so immersed with it
'Cause they were introduced
don't
to it by their
even, like,
parents.
No, but they're not even aware of the fact that someone cannot not know.
No,
this music.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yo, because I had this conversation with my girl, and she dead ass was putting me out like, wait, how you don't know some of the tops by these guys? Like, and I'm like, yo, my mom wasn't playing.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's
I don't even think my mom knows who Marvin Gaye is.
Yeah. And I'd be like, yo, don't get me wrong. These tracks is fire, but damn, I ain't know about them. Like, I ain't know these
First
shit.
rapper I heard of was Slim Shady in first
Oh,
grade.
yeah, that's unacceptable.
That's insane.
Yo, I was digging in the crates for that shade. That's a conversation for another time. He's really ahead of his time. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm being dead.
But indirectly, you guys have heard this music before because all of your favorite artists, all they do is go back and sample all these
No,
dudes' music.
that's what made me even appreciate it more though, Fitz.
That's
Like,
what made
Every
me
I
last-
realized that the
like,
music
every
that
last artist.
that I grew up on, that like these guys were sampling this stuff, and like when you go, I love when I find out the sample of like a classic hip hop song. It's just like, wow, that shit came from that. Like Otis, I mean, like from Watch the Throne. Like when you hear the sample,
But
and it
Kanye
goes
does that
into
a
the
lot, man.
beat, it's just like, yo, these guys, these producers are incredible. Kanye, this whole era of niggas that reinvented the sample, like the whole Dipset era, like
I
bro,
know Drake sampled
so
a lot.
many Dipset songs were like classic.
Well, that was
like,
just Blaze.
soul
That was just
samples.
Blaze and Kanye's like thing.
Just Blaze and Kanye.
But the craziest thing about Kanye, though, bro, because when I listen to some of the songs that he sampled, I'm like, this nigga really went and found the best part in this song,
Right.
And sampled.
And
I
just
said,
looped it.
who is this nigga?
Yo, because it's not just about sampling a song.
You're right.
It's about pulling the
picking
right, part.
It's about
Exactly.
picking the right part.
And then to put it all together, like, and then the hey, like, come on, son, like, these dudes are really.
Nah,
genius.
he walked out with that one. He walked out with
Like,
that
that's
one.
still
That
to
one
this
was
day
unacceptable.
one of
Yo.
the greatest. like the way it
He
just
ain't have to do
drops.
us like that.
I mean, I've seen DJs kind of like make a set off of that, like off of like playing, like
Just the first part.
yeah, exactly, and then looping into the actual beat for him.
But I actually think that's kind of, it's funny, too, because you made a point, Jeff, that you said your parents didn't play any of that music, and then you guys didn't find out to it and later on into life. I would assume that, yo, when you came over here, y'all had a good mix growing up. You grew up with African Americans, other people that came over from the motherland, and then Spanish folks as well.
Like whatever was in your local neighborhood, wherever you lived, but you gotta also.
Y'all
think about
friends
the
growing up
neighborhoods
never
where
made
you
it a
lived.
point to just be like, yo, listen to this or pop this on?
Bro, when you're younger, when you're that much like when you're, I mean, maybe it's different now, but like when we were coming up, like when you're in elementary school age, you're not really sharing your culture that
That's not what
much.
you're talking about.
It's like,
No?
it's like I can expose you to like what my culture is at home, but I don't understand it enough to even like be like on some like, yo,
That's
let me, you know what I mean, bring you into this. Let me show you what this is about. So, you know what I mean? I don't,
By second grade, the only thing we were talking about was Pokemon.
Yeah,
That's the
video
only
games.
thing we were talking about was Pokemon.
I was
and
aware
Nintendo.
enough though that
Wrestling.
when I went to my friends' homes, that's when I saw that's when I was able to pick up on certain things. Like,
Oh, my mom didn't play that. You ain't going to nobody's house.
That's a fact. See, that's an immigrant struggle too. That's not talked about. Your parents not letting you go
Fuck outta here. You ain't
nowhere.
going to nobody
Like
else.
they could come
Yeah.
here, but you can't go to nobody.
Unless
crib.
it's somebody from church or family.
I mean,
It's the same thing
my
in African American
pops
houses,
even wanted
though.
me to go to my cousin's crib. Right?
But
Even our cousins, crib.
He's like,
His
you ain't
own
going
brother.
nowhere.
like
his
that,
own
like
brother's
that's your
crib.
brother's
He's like, nah.
child. you know your brother lived there.
He's like, hell no. Y'all niggas ain't going nowhere. What y'all want over there?
Yo, my parents didn't play that either, though.
But yo, Nick,
Like, you couldn't go to a sleepover. Like, we would leave. Like, we would go over for all the activities, and when it was time to go to bed, my mom would be like, yo, we outside.
Same.
Come on, come
My parents be
come
there
on.
expeditiously. That was
Yeah.
the only time they was on
Outside,
time
come
to
on
pick me
down.
up.
That's back when you had the landline. You hear that landline ring. You
Yup.
know. You look over there. It's like 9:30. Yeah, that's my mom's calling.
We gotta pack up the Sonic. Fuck.
Yo, mom, I got one more game of Mortal Kombat. Let me play one more game of Mortal Kombat real quick.
I can't leave on the L.
yeah. But do y'all feel like that's like something that I'm not saying we have to protect, but there has to be a better effort to make sure that like that older music, the older the movies, the things like that get appreciated by the next generation? Because I could tell you right now is like Nick, like you brought up a good point. If our parents aren't putting us onto this, someone has to put us onto it. But it's rare that you're gonna casually go back and just start listening to old shit. That's
it's not as rare as you think, Sko. And
What do you mean?
I think the important thing for people to go back. Like, I think the important thing is to make sure that a lot of this stuff is archived and cataloged.
If someone didn't tell you to, though, would you?
Consumed.
Well, what happens?
I mean, if you like or love like music enough, like you'll go back. I did the same thing with hip hop. Like the first hip hop I started consuming, like you, was whatever was I was aware of. Once I started to be conscious of like the music I was taking in. So around that time, it was like barely Pac and Biggie, but maybe more so like late 90s going into like the 50 era. Like that's when I'm like, I feel like Fab was probably the first like rapper that I remember being consciously like, yo, I'm a fan of this guy. Like whatever he puts out, I'm a fan. Holla Back and all that stuff. I don't remember the exact years on this type of music, but my appreciation for music
early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
There we go. So I appreciated music enough, and just, you know what I mean, through discourse and conversations and arguments, the things you naturally do when you like something, like sports or something else, like that forces you to go back and do your homework. Because when you have an argument with someone and you're like, yo, you know, like Nas is the best rapper I've ever heard, and they laugh at you, like,
well,
nigga,
I think that's what it is.
Have you heard
though, right?
KRS-One? Have you heard Big Daddy Kane? Have you heard such?
That's
and
the
such?
influence I'm
Like,
talking about. Like, yeah, someone didn't maybe tell you.
Someone's
explicitly,
always gonna
go
tell
and
you,
listen
though.
to this, but just that conversation, that interaction.
That dichotomy is always gonna be there, though. Like, as long as there's always an older generation, there's gonna be niggas shitting on current niggas right now, being like, "Yo, nigga, the best nigga I ever heard is
Beethoven."
No matter what,
Beethoven.
I don't care how good Drake is. I don't care how good Lil Baby becomes. Jay-Z's the GOAT. Period. That's our generation. We're not gonna let hope die.
To add to that point, though, Shane, I do think that we do keep it, like whether it's just implicitly, but it's going to be the music that is culturally relevant to you. Like your mom may not be playing Marvin Gaye, but I'm sure she might have been playing some other, music that was relevant to where she came from. Like my mom played a lot of Ghanaian music when I was growing up, a lot of church music, but my mom had this one Michael Jackson CD that I fucking like burnt to death. Well, it was one of the little tape deck joints. So yeah, like we tore that up. But like when I'm going into the future and thinking about when I have kids, absolutely, I'm going to be playing some music. Like best believe my kids are going to be well versed in 50 Cent and G Unit, because I'm going to be playing that on Sundays, cleaning up the crib.
I guess that's what I'm concerned about, though, right? I'm concerned that, see, I'm already not playing that old. You're right. Like my mom and my dad played a lot of short shirt, a lot of calypso, reggae, right? I listen to some of that, but I listen to more of modern dancehall right now. You feel me? And then I listen to current soca right now. I don't listen to the older stuff that my parents listen to, and I don't listen to older just black music either. So how are my kids gonna hear it? Well, I guess Tay, right? Tay. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is
I think there's a
Tay's
point
not gonna be playing older
in
calypso.
life where you unplug from sort of like the present day, like sort of like cycle of music, and you basically just like kind of transition to a stage of nostalgia. And that's kind of like where I think a lot of adults and our parents kind of end up. Like, I don't think when they were in their late 20s and 30s, they were listening to Beret and, the classic stuff. I think you get to a certain age where it's like, all right, well, yeah, you appreciate it because, like, you're not looking for the new artists anymore. You're not.
You tell me at some point I'm gonna stop listening to Young Thug?
No, I mean, Young Thug is not going to be a current artist anymore. He's not going to be putting out music anymore.
Right, he's a
and
legend.
the Young Thug you want to hear is going to be 10 years old. It's going to be 15 years old.
I look at that a little bit differently. I don't think it's I think what happens as you get older and you start to mature a little bit, you understand things a little bit better. So, like, I'll give you a prime example. When I was younger, I used to watch Martin, right? I didn't understand a lot of the jokes. I would just laugh when everybody else laughed. When I got older and I went back and I listened to it again and I watched them shows, I found it extremely funny because I had the worldly experience, and then I understood what the hell was going on. I find the same thing with the music. My parents used to play a lot of that old school, especially my grandparents used to play a lot of the old school stuff. And I'm like, man, turn this trash off. Yeah, like I want to hear something else. But once you get a little older, you go back and you listen to that music again. I'm like, yo, these cats was really spitting, and they were really good. Like, they were actually good musicians, like Jeb touched on with Stevie, real talented. Like, the talent level, you can see
Fitz,
from way
that's
back
nostalgia.
when.
You sound like an old person now.
But
you
bro,
don't realize that you've made the transition I just described.
You probably I agree. That's what I said.
Like you're
I
not
said I
really
agree.
looking for these young cats now. Like
No, I listen, but no, I listen to a lot.
You mess with, you know what I mean?
No, bro, I listen to a lot of young
older.
music, man. Like I like a lot of the young cats now. I like NBA YoungBoy. I like Kodak. I like Lil Baby.
Oh,
I
free
like
the guy.
NLE Chopper. You know, I like all of these cats. But then I still do go back and listen to music like your Busta Rhymes. I do listen to KRS-One and all of that. Like I've actually went back and seen these guys perform. Like I saw KRS-One perform. I saw Busta Bus perform. I've seen Young Thug perform.
You was at them Rock the Bells?
It wasn't until I came to college and I had college roommates who grew up in New Jersey, playing this music, and I was just like, oh, like, okay, I kind of fuck. And then I went on this whole kick where I went back and listened to Talib Kweli and a bunch of older people where I was into that music for a little bit. But again, like I had to get put on by someone else. If I didn't go to school, like college, I would have never came across this music. I promise you, I've never came across this music. Living in the Bronx where I was living, I would. But
that's the point, though, Sko. If
that.
you have to get out of like the little pockets in which we came up in, like you're not gonna get exposed to shit growing up in up, you know what I mean, up in the Bronx where you live. And
but I listened to hip hop music. I was just trying to prove a point that someone has to put you onto that. I think it's rare for someone to just listen to the radio and just be like I'm gonna go ahead and just start listening to 90s rap and see what that's hitting for. Like unless someone introduces you to it or you get some inkling that it's something worth listening to, why would you go back and do that?
Yeah, but
what would prompt you to do that?
That's always going to exist though, because like I said, there's going to be a generation of music consumers that are going to remind you that whatever you like isn't the best thing that's ever existed. Like whatever you're hearing right now, there's always going to be that person. You know what I mean? There's a slot for that in the game as well too. So for every person that's coming up and only liking the shit that they know and that they've heard, like there's tons of people waiting to put them on in some new shit. Like just go ahead and make a mistake and say your favorite rapper is the best rapper of all time, and then you will get put on to everyone. It happens to these artists. These artists go on media. They go on media runs, and these radio jockeys and things like that. They'll ask them like, "Yo, who'd you grow up listening to?" Because like that's just like something people ask and talk about in hip hop. Like, how did you find this? How did you come to this art form? And when people find out you don't know the greats, like you gonna get put on by like regular people. They're gonna be like, yo, that's pretty sad. Like I've seen it happen to like Yachty and all these other like young artists. Like this whole generation, they all get clowned for not listening to Biggie and Pac and Nas. Like it's like, are you dumb? Like nobody thinks that's cool.
I'm running it up, I bet on myself, doubling up. I'm chasing my dreams, I'm testing my luck, it's about to take off. You coming to what? You coming to what? You fuck with my money, I'm fucking you up. Cause I'm young and I'm black and I don't give a fuck. Young Desi, young Dawn, we running shit up.
Run it up, 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 run it up. You making some money, then run it up. You about to go shopping and run it up. You popping some bottles and run it up. My bank account on the up and up.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Whose Mans Is This? This podcast is brought to you by 6 School Brothers, Jeff, Julian, Kev, Nick, Shane, and Sam. Intro music by Jacques Lane, outro music by Berlin.